Welcome to our workshop on the Commonwealth Masters Scholarships. I am going to moderate the session for today, and my name is Gayatri. Before we get started and I take you through the outline for the session, though, I would like to remind everyone on the call that this meeting is being recorded and will be shared with everyone via Project EduAccess's YouTube channel. So please don't worry, even if you miss parts of it, you will be able to access it later. And just another word of caution, because the meeting is being recorded on active speaker mode, if you unmute yourself and say anything, you will be caught in the recording and that will ultimately be made public. So if you do not wish to appear in the recording, please ensure that your microphone remains muted throughout the course of the session. But of course, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask questions during the Q&A part of the workshop, so long as you're happy to appear in the recording. But if you prefer, you're also more than welcome to just drop your questions in the chat, and I'll be happy to read them out to our panelists for the day. On your screens, you will now be able to see the outline for today's workshop. I'm going to very, very briefly introduce Project EduAccess to all of you, especially those of you who may be unfamiliar with the work we do. And then I'm going to introduce you to the two wonderful panelists who have taken time out to discuss the Commonwealth Master's Scholarship application with you today. Thereafter, I'm going to hand over to the two panelists to take you through the application process in detail. They will speak to you about the eligibility criteria, the developmental themes that are necessary for you to consider while applying to this scholarship, what all application documents you may require, and also what the application process and timeline typically looks like, before giving you some advice on the kinds of essays you may have to write in order to make this application ultimately. After we get through this initial presentation part, of course, we will move on to the Q&A session, which is where you can raise your hand and ask whatever questions you have, or of course, you can also pop your questions in the chat and I will read them out to the panelists. Coming to Project EduAccess, for those of you who are hearing about us for the first time, we are a nonprofit initiative that works on improving inclusivity in the higher education as well as leadership spaces for individuals from marginalized communities in the global South. As part of our work, we have at least 4 different interventions. The key intervention that we adopt is, of course, a mentorship program, which quite a few of you on this call may be familiar with. But apart from this, the mentorship programs that we are currently running in India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, we also have a lot of informational webinars, like the one that you are attending today, which are more generally open to all, to the public at large. In addition to these workshops and the mentorship program, we also have a series of capacity buildings and leadership skill development sessions that we organize. And we also do a little bit of evidence-based advocacy. But let's get cracking with that workshop on the Commonwealth Masters Scholarships. Today, we have 2 wonderful speakers who have agreed to take you through the application process, and you can see their names and details on the screen now. We have Prachi Sharma, who's about to begin her MPhil in Digital Humanities at the University of Cambridge as a Commonwealth Masters Scholar this year. And we also have with us Abhijit Bagre, who is about to begin his MPhil in Modern South Asian Studies at the University of Cambridge, once again as a Commonwealth Masters Scholar. Between the two of them, Prachi and Abhijit are able to speak in Hindi and Marathi as well, apart from English. So if any of you is not too comfortable asking a question in English, you're more than welcome to put your questions to them in Hindi or Marathi, and they will try their best to answer your questions in these languages and also provide a translation in English for the benefit of those who may not know these languages. Great. I think now that I have gotten through that initial intro, let me hand over to the panelists for the day to speak to you about the Commonwealth Masters Scholarship.
Hi, thank you so much, Gayatri. So my name is Prachi, and I'll be soon starting my MPhil in Digital Humanities at Cambridge this year as a Commonwealth Master Scholar. I'll be covering the first few slides in the session and then Abhijit will take over. I'm having a strange issue with my video, so unfortunately you'll not be able to see me, but I'll try to figure that out later. For now, we can start with speaking about Commonwealth scholarships in general. So the Commonwealth scholarships are United Kingdom's primary scholarship scheme, which are focused on supporting UK international development goals. They are funded by the FCDO, which is the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, and they are managed by the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission, the CSC. They support future change makers and leaders by funding postgraduate studies in a range of different study formats in the UK. So this range of different study formats actually pertains to the various types of Commonwealth scholarships which are available to Indian applicants, which you will soon see in the next slide. Apart from the Commonwealth Master Scholarship, which is the primary focus of this session, there are several other Commonwealth scholarships offered by the CSC. Most of these scholarships, all of these scholarships cover your tuition fees, your living allowance at the rate of £1,347 per month or £1,652 per month for those at universities in the London metropolitan area. Please do note that this figure may vary. It will vary as per the changing costs of living every year. So, for example, this year, this figure has increased by a few pounds. And that may change the next year, so on and so forth. The scholarships also cover your airfare to and from the UK. They also cover your visa application costs, your thesis grant and study travel grant wherever it is applicable. They give you a warm clothing allowance of which may vary as well, but for the Commonwealth Master Scholarship this year, this allowance was about £500. If a scholar has children and is widowed, divorced, or a single parent, child allowance of £576 per month for the first child and £143 per month for the second and third child under the age of 16 is available if their children are living with them at the same address. We can move on to the next slide. So, as I mentioned earlier, there are several types of Commonwealth scholarships available for Indian students. First, the Commonwealth Master Scholarships, which we'll be focusing on in this session, and they are tenable at any university in the UK. Then we have the Commonwealth Shared Scholarships, which are for select courses in partner UK universities, which means that the funding is shared between the CSC, the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission, and the select university. Then we have the Commonwealth PhD Scholarship, discontinued for Indian applicants in 2019, and Indian applicants are not anymore eligible to apply for the Commonwealth PhD scholarships. Then we have the Commonwealth Split Site Scholarships, which are meant for PhD students studying at an Indian university who can pursue a part of their research in a UK university. Then lastly, we have the Commonwealth Distance Learning Scholarships, which I have learned are like one of the lesser known scholarships given by the CSC. And they are meant to fund students who wish to pursue distance learning master's courses in the UK from India. And as is noted on the slide, Project EduAccess will organize sessions on the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship and other Commonwealth scholarships in the coming months. So any questions on these will be covered later, and this session is particularly going to focus on the Commonwealth Master Scholarship. You can have the next slide. So about the Commonwealth Master Scholarship, they are fully funded one-year master scholarship tenable at any university in the UK. Do note that the Commonwealth Master Scholarship is only meant for a one-year master's program. And if you're looking to pursue, say, a two-year master's program, then you would not be eligible to apply for the scholarship. The scholarship supports talented and motivated candidates who lack the financial means to afford an education in the UK. Applicants must be a citizen or have been granted refugee status and or be permanently based in a Commonwealth country. Also, candidates must apply twice, as you would learn in more detail later on in the session. The application procedure consists of two steps. First, you apply at the Commonwealth Scholarship Commission's website and then at the India Sakshat portal. 39 candidates are first nominated by India in December, and the final award is confirmed to 50% of those by June. These dates may also vary. So, for example, this year for the 2024 cohort, process was much faster, and the list of 39 candidates was actually published by the ministry in September 2020. Three, if I'm not wrong. Abhijit, please correct me if I'm wrong. And the final award, the provisional selections were actually announced by May this year. So this may vary as well, but it wouldn't be later than December and June respectively. We can move on to the next slide. So about eligibility for the Commonwealth Master Scholarship, the applicant must be a citizen of India, be a citizen of or have been granted refugee status by an eligible Commonwealth country, or be a British protected person. The applicant must be a permanent resident of India. They must be available to start their academic studies in the UK by the start of the UK academic year in September or October of 2025. By September 2025, you must hold a first degree of at least upper second class honors, which in the Indian context means a minimum of 60% marks in graduation, or a second class degree, which in the Indian context means between 50 to 59% marks in graduation. If your percentage falls within 50 to 59%, you must also have a relevant postgraduate qualification. Lastly, the applicant must not be able to afford to study in the UK without this scholarship. We can move, yeah. So further eligibility requirements are that the candidate must have an offer of admission from a UK university listed on the CSC website for the September-October 2025 end date at the time of applying on the Sakshat portal to be considered for the scholarship. So you will learn about the application process in much more detail later in the session, but please note that this criteria is not for the first round in this application process when you apply on the CSC website. You must have an offer of admission when you're applying later on the Sakshat portal. A lot of potential applicants miss out on applying for the Commonwealth Master Scholarship specifically due to this confusion, which is that you do not need an offer of admission while you are making your application on the CSC website. You do not need an offer of admission at this point, but you do need an offer letter later when you are applying at the Sakshat portal. The scholarship only funds 1 year master's programs. We've covered that, and MBA programs are not covered under this scholarship. Last very interesting and very important point is that the CSC would not normally fund a second UK master's degree, which is true. If you are applying for a second UK master's degree, you will need to provide justification as to why you wish to undertake the study. So this is very, very clearly stated on the CSC website. However, I know of a good number of scholars, including myself, who have been selected for the Commonwealth Master Scholarship for their second master's degree. So that is not an impossibility, and you must justify very, very well in your application that why the second master's degree fits not only with your career trajectory but also with the larger ethos and the developmental goals of the CSC. The CSC Master Scholarship is awarded under 6 developmental themes. So one very unique, very unique condition with the Commonwealth Master Scholarship is that they are highly focused on development. And throughout the application process, beginning from brainstorming for your applications, writing the essays, and finally submitting your application, you must remember that the courses that you want to pursue and whatever you are writing for your essays should fit under one of these 6 developmental themes, which are science and technology for development, strengthening health systems and capacity, promoting global prosperity, strengthening global peace, security, and governance, strengthening resilience and response to crisis, access, inclusion, and opportunity. Yes, we can move on to the next slide. To better understand how you could decide which one of the 6 developmental themes given by the CSC fits better with your career trajectory, the courses that you intend to apply to, with what you're writing in your application, you may navigate the Commonwealth Scholarships website where they explain each of these themes in much more detail. If I remember it right, while you're filling the application form, after asking you to state the developmental theme under which they must consider your application, they also ask you to state, I think, 2 or 3 SDGs which relate to your future work, past work, and to your application at large. At this point, I would also like to mention that these CSC development themes are quite large and open to interpretation, as in how they could apply to your application or to your future study. So, for example, when I was making my application, I could see it very clearly that what I'm writing in my application and the courses that I want to pursue, they do fit well under the science and technology for development theme. But at the same time, I was very hesitant because I thought that, well, I'm not really trained in, I'm not an engineer. I've not really, studied any of the science courses before. However, don't limit yourself with these thoughts because these development themes are actually quite open to interpretation and they are very broad. So I think from the next slide onwards, Abhijit will take over. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you much. Thank you so much, Prachi. Just want to check with both of you that am I audible and there is not much noise in the background because as I'm caught somewhere out.
You're good,
So
Abhijit.
is it my voice is okay?
Yeah, your voice is fine.
Okay, cool. So first of all, Supreme Jai Bhim to everyone, and thank you very much, Project Education Access, to giving me this opportunity to share my experiences on the Commonwealth Scholarship Workshop. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through what is the actual process and some of the suggestions that I could tell you from my experiences of how I have applied and how I have able to make it to the Commonwealth Scholarship. So basically, there have been like two processes. In the first end, you have to fill your application. You have to start your application at Commonwealth Scholarship portal, and so you just need to fill your essays and some particular information. But on the other hand, as well, you have to kind of make your account in because it is a kind of, you have to be nominated from your home country, and it is the Department of Ministry of Education who will nominate you. So for that, you will need to create an account, and which is called as a portal. At that time, you need some documents. So one will be your conditional or unconditional offer letter that I'm going to talk in some time. The second one is your अपना the agreement of that you are returning to home country after completion of your award, which states that you will at least work for 2 years in your home country, right? And after that, then further process goes that how you have, if you have been nominated among the 39 candidates, then the list will go to the UK, and then your application essays will be assessed, and then this other nomination round will take place where you will get the further process. Yeah, please change the slide. Yeah, some of the documents also you will need, as I previously mentioned. Basically, your passport, your all transcripts so far that you have been, the education that you have pursued so far, your MTech, masters or bachelors, any diploma you did. And obviously, the main important part that you will need at least 2 reference letters. In my case, I mean, last it was 3 references needed, but the 2 are the minimal. Okay. So yeah, these are some of the documents that you will. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, so once, as I again said that previously, the nomination criteria starts from basically from your home country. So Ministry of Education kind of nominates you. I think this year they kind of make the pool of 100 people or something, and they chose something from that pool around 30, which is like a standard number. Every year they choose. So for that, you need to have your confirmation the offer letter from your university that you're trying to get admission. And this the list of university you can find on the CSC website, because they have tied up with the universities. So for that, they will internally, and which basically they will jointly fund. So some of your tuition fees will be jointly paid by the Commonwealth and your home institution. And some of the nominations will also be based on the how the candidates, where are the candidates coming from. So if you are coming from the disadvantaged background or historical marginalized community like SC, ST, and like there are other communities, the NC, the OBC, and also with the disability or economical weaker section, you will be graded according to that. And also then if you how do you identify yourself? If you are a transgender or either you are a female, then there will be 2 points. And according to that, again there is option. As I said previously, you will have to make an agreement from the court saying that on the bond paper, basically you will be returning to your home country after completion your course, right? So for that also, if you submit, so you will get 4 points. But if you don't do that, then you will not get that 4 points. And again, it depends on another main factor that your whatever the university you got admitted or got the admission of offer, what is the QS ranking? So again, it plays an important role. If your university comes under the top 10, then you will get 4 points, and according to that, then it will get reduced, right? So these are some important factors where you will get nominated from your home country. So as I said previously, it will almost like from 100 people this year, what I have observed, 100 people, 39 candidates have been nominated. Yeah, go next. Folks, please tell me if I'm going too fast. Yeah, I'm talking about now, because as I said, for your nomination from your home country, you will need the very important document, that is the offer letter, which either should be conditional or unconditional. So it depends on your all courses, on your course, on your chosen course. So basically, in my case, I'm going to University of Cambridge for the MPhil in Modern South Asian Studies, right? So this is quite tricky. Some universities which have already identified by the team are you can see on your screen, which give the early decisions, right? So if you fill your application along with your reference letter in your application portal along with your degrees and all, that is a separate process when you apply to your application at university. But again, you need for that offer letter, you will need to apply all this. So for that, you will have to follow with the university department which you are kind of aiming to get admitted, right? So in my case, I was following the department of South Asian Studies at University of Cambridge. I was explaining the whole situation. I'm aiming to get this scholarship from the Commonwealth, and I want to participate in this application process. It would be really grateful if you could assess my application and tell your decision. Okay, please go next. And that's how I got my the decision from the university. I was accepted. Yeah, then coming to the next part of the portal where you will need to fill up your essay. So now going to the portal of Commonwealth Scholarship Commission, where you will need to fill the details along with your essay. So these are five sections where you will have to fill your answers. One is your develop impact statement. So how your development issue relates to your whatever the global national and intersection with the sustainable development goals. And who are their beneficiaries, right? You will also have to outline your study, how you have planned, and how you are aligning with the your future goals, which you can see basically your career goals. What are your short goals? What are your long-term goals? And then again, and everything is like you have to stitch it together. So it's not like you are keeping it in a bubble in the first section. So everything you have to tie it together in every section. So in personal statement, career goals, the voluntary and leadership experience. If you have anything, you can add. But all other four, what worked in my case is you have to stitch it together. It's not like you're written in one section and then you are letting it there. So you have to kind of stitch it together. You have to kind of build the narrative. So these are the some things, personal statement, you have to write, career goals. And yeah, if you have done some any volunteer leadership experience, that as well. Yeah, go next. Then I will be kind of briefly kind of detailing you of each section. I mean, it's again, I think every personality, every individual's track, career track and working track and education track is different. In my case, what work I will share in the development impact segment. For example, now I'm going to study the relationship of mostly caste and water, right? So I explained the application in a sense how it is related to the development sector at the global, national, and local level, right? And how it is also related to the CSS stream. So that's how I wrote the essay. This first essay. That how it's also going to impact my research. And again, I kind of again going to I'm taking you back to the all other four section as well, the personal statement, your study outline. So so whatever you're looking, you can see at the screen, it's kind of is working together. We also need to show how you going to use, what skills you are going to pursue at your chosen university, and how you're going to use it in your research. As again, I will again focus, I will emphasize on the how everything is going to stitch together. So you have to kind of make and build a narrative and tell them how everything from this essay is going to feed your overall application. Yeah, go next. Again, as I said, the study outline. For example, if you are going to pursue something like quantitative or qualitative research, please mention it. Please mention what are your expectations, what are your outcomes, right? How you are going to, like if you have taken you have done enough research about the department, about your course that you want to pursue, right? And how is going to again feed into your future career. Again, I'm pulling it back to the overall structure of long-term, short-term, your personal statement, right? So you have to feed it everything into it and stitch it together. So some of again means like what are the methods, how you're going to either you are going to for your PhD, either you are going to again go to some NGOs, something like that, right? So you have to bring it in your study outline as well. Yeah, next. Yeah, career goal, very important. So in this section, you will find the short-term career goals for the 5 minutes. For 5 years, and then next for the long term. So these are the sections you will need to write very carefully. Because here comes a very important part. The CSC will look at, okay, whatever you have written in your personal statement and your the previous section, they will look at very carefully and they will scrutinize you on the basis of what are your career goals for the after the scholarship, right? Because as I said, you will be nominated on one of the very important factor that you will be going back to your home country and contributing 2 years of work to your chosen development team, right? Um, so you will need to tell them okay, what are your career goals for the next 5 years and how also you are kind of aligning with the next your bigger picture to kind of a longer goal, right? So this is the kind of the section you will need to kind of think about very critically and mention and bring all the aspects about your career plan. Even if you have to refer to it to your previous track, you have to kind of make the sense of your presence and how it's going to the future. Yeah, next. Again, personal statement and experience. As I initially mentioned that every individual's track is different. and whatever I was saying might not work or might work for few. You have to think critically. You have to bring your curiosity. So these are the personal statement and experience. This is the personal statement and experience. So what from how did you grow up? How did you where did you pursue your education? And from that time, how did you basically all your previous track of working or taking education in the different development sector, and kind of making the sense of all those things in your personal statement and experience. Why did you kind of choose this development sector, and why do you think it's going to play a huge role in the upcoming years in the development sector? So this is where you have to kind of show your in this essay section personal statement and experience to kind of how you're going to contribute also, how you're going to demonstrate the opportunities that you're going to grab at your particular university, but as well as because you will have a lot of resources through the CSC Commonwealth Scholarship Commission as well. So according to that, you have to write all your personal statement and experience. Yeah, next. Yeah, so this is it. But I think if I have missed something, so please add Gayatri or Prachi. If I was too fast, my apologies. I'm out due to some traffic reasons. But yeah, again, overall, I want to really just add some things. Please have your passports ready. So I was like 27 and I did not have my passport ready. So I have to rush out to my nearby passport center in Bangalore, and I have to get my passport because they will ask you your passport. I know this is a very basic thing you should have, but those who are coming from the marginalized background, they mostly don't have these documents, very basic documents. So I strongly emphasize to get your passports if you have not have your passports and all your transcripts, degree certificates ready with you, because you will need to upload it on your application portal as well as on the or where on the CSC site as well, and also the reference letters. So give enough time to your mentors to ask for the reference letter on the official letterhead. Okay, so CSC has this very strong mandate that you should get your reference letter from the official website, their official whatever working they are working, and on their official letterpad. So you must ask your referee to write your reference letter on their official and have to send by their official email ID. So yeah, that's what I wanted to add in the last. And I will add some more, but I will now hand over to Prachi if I have missed something. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Abhijit and Prachi, for taking us through the application process comprehensively. We've got quite a few questions in the chat, but we also have a few raised hands. Just to reiterate, you're more than welcome to raise your hands and ask your questions, but please note that you will appear in the recording. As long as you're fine with that, please go ahead. If not, pop your questions in the chat and I will read them out. For now, maybe we can take the first raised hand. Aman, you have the floor.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I would like to thank the panelists first, and I have a couple of questions. So first is regarding providing a confirmed offer by 31st of October. So you see, most of the prestigious universities provide it typically by March or April, although one of the panelists had mentioned a couple of universities and it had mentioned that if we request for an early decision, they'll be able to provide that. But the point is, like I am applying for LLM, and one of the universities is Cambridge. Then there is LSE and other universities. So Cambridge typically ends its application process by December 2nd or 1st of 2024. So the application deadline itself is in December. So how will it be possible for them to convey a decision by 31st October? So what is a way out in this situation? Likewise for other universities too.
Do you want to take this, Prachi, or should I answer it?
Hi, Abhijit, please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. I would like to thank the panelists first, and I have a couple of questions. So first is regarding providing a confirmed offer by 31st of October. So you see, most of the prestigious universities provide it typically by March or April, although one of the panelists had mentioned a couple of universities and it had mentioned that if we request for an early decision, they'll be able to provide that. But the point is, like I am applying for LLM, and one of the universities is Cambridge. Then there is LSE and other universities. So Cambridge typically
Hello.
And I think she's asking you to start
Okay,
answering.
okay. Good question. And I think that is a very important and very crucial thing to have your offer letter from the university. So, see, they could put any deadline. It's like it might be December, or they could say, okay, you can. The application portal might still open till. They might they might still accepting the applications till January or Feb. But what they do in the particular departments, they have the a set of faculty who assess your application. Okay, so according to your field of expertise, means even in your field there might be particular subjects which you might be filling application. So that application goes to that faculty, right? So, and that's what means like I'm telling you from my own experience. Every department, every the university might differ, but in particularly about Cambridge is they have the set of faculty who will assess your application, and they will doesn't matter the deadline, that doesn't matter. But what you have to do is you have to complete your application and you have to submit it, and then you have to, after 2 or 3 days or 1 week or as soon as possible, you have to follow up with them saying that I had kind of applied to Commonwealth scholarship. I had kind of applied at your department, and I just need to know the result of my application if possible, because I'm considering to apply for a Commonwealth scholarship. And this is a standard procedure. So they will kind of the fast track the process of assessing your application or evaluating your application, because they have, as I said, they will have the set of faculty in their department, and they will kind of take the decision. And they do this because their internal fundings are already very competitive. So they know this, they're already aware of the situation. So they kind of consider that request. So I strongly advise or suggest to all folks and participants here to complete their university application first, and then kind of follow up with their concerned departments. I don't know if this has answered your question.
Yeah, thank you,
Prachi, if you
Abhijit.
want to add something.
This does help. This does help a lot. Now, my second question is: they have one condition that there's a commitment.
Yes, Aman. But I will just ask you to kind of if there are going to more questions, let us also consider other also. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So there is one condition that there is a commitment to return to India for 2 years, and there are, I think, 2 points for that commitment. So if I do not tick that box, how will it really affect my chances?
It will affect pretty
or
much.
what?
It will affect pretty much. Because as I said, this year something around 100 people have been, means I was able to see on that collective email, which I can see, I think there was around 800 people, and it was quite competitive. So don't think that if I don't choose that option, I mean you will be on the kind of the disadvantage side. So I would strongly suggest to kind of pick that option. I mean, again, you have to think it very critically. It's like how you are going to again come back to your home country and work for at least 2 years, right? And it might differ for every individual. They might not be able to choose this option. But yeah, I strongly advise to kind of consider this option.
Okay. Thank you. It helps a lot.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Prachi, if you want to add something.
Yeah, Prachi, if you wanted to add something, I think it would be good to hear about your experience as well.
Right. No, about the earlier question, I agree with what Abhijit said, and I would highly recommend everyone to just make an early application, apply as soon as you can, so that you can hope for an early decision. And that is a good strategy, which is to, like, once you've made an application and it has been at least a few weeks, just write an email to your department requesting an early decision on your application. That is what I did. So out of the 3 universities that I listed on my application, I emailed UCL, University College London, for a decision on my application and if they could do it. And in about 2 days, they replied with a decision. So I was able to use that offer letter while making my application for the second step of the process on the Sakshat portal. So yeah, do that.
Perfect. Thank you both. Could I ask everyone with raised hands to please keep their questions brief and to the point, and ask all your questions in one go, so we can get through them quickly. And on that note, Mayur, you have the floor.
Yes. Hi everyone. So there are two questions. First question is there any experience needed for this scholarship? And my second question is, as I have to come back after completing my particular degree, then I will be I will be doing some kind of employment. Then I will have to mention in my career goal as well that I will be doing this kind of work after returning back to India.
Can I answer this question? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Prachi, go ahead.
okay, so yes, yes, so like once you return back to India, you will be, if you especially, so I would like to reiterate actually that anyway, the CSC does have a condition for the scholars to return back to their home country. The point about, like, where you get 4 points for agreeing to return to your home country for a period of 2 years and working in addition to that, that is at the Sakshat portal. So that is the ministry's condition. The CSC has the condition for you to return back, but the condition to come back and work for 2 years is the ministry's condition, if you take that. So, sorry, what was your question?
Yeah. And the second question was,
Yeah, he was asking about the if does the work experience, yeah, and
Oh,
that
yeah,
matters.
it definitely, if you do have some work experience, then it definitely helps to write about that in your application. But I know scholars who came right out of education and did not have any work experience to begin with, and they made the application and they got selected. So that is fine. I think you also asked about whether you should write in your application what kind of work you see yourself doing once you come back to India. If that is what you asked, then I would say that I highly recommend it. The CSC, the Commonwealth Masters scholarship application is very very future oriented and very forward looking, and they really expect you to have some degree of ideas about what you would be doing once you return. Since they are like really development focused, you should have some answers ready about what kind of work you see yourself doing. I specifically mentioned the organizations that I would like to work with once I come back to India. And so they do expect you to have some degree of clarity with regards to what you would be doing once you come back. Yeah. Abhijit, if you would like to add, please go ahead.
Yeah. One thing I think this is very important. The first question I would like to address, brother, there will be one section in your application specifically mentioned as academic distinctions and prizes, right? Where in that section you will need to kind of write about what sector, what area, and what job title was of yours, what were your main responsibilities, and anything is like what overall what your research has been so far, or what the internships you have been done. So I strongly suggest and highly recommend to all to kind of take a look at this section and kind of reflect in a way. So everything, whatever you have done, and I'm pretty much sure that we all as a student have done pretty much good in our academic distinction and prizes. It might be a small internship you did, something you have researched as independently. You might have attended some workshop. And in that section, you could just roll out your main responsibilities, right? What were the responsibilities as attending that workshop? What were you doing in your internship, or as an independent project? What did you do in that? So in that academic distinction and prizes, please that it's very important, and it plays a very important. And again, I'm kind of want to emphasize on the stitch it together. Everything, don't let it isolated. If you have written something, make sense it, stitch it together, and kind of build a narrative. So yeah, I think that's what I wanted to add. Yeah.
noted. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all three of you. I'm going to turn to some of the questions in the chat now. There's someone who's asking if they need a no objection certificate from their current workplace in order to apply for the scholarship.
No, not really. I was in I was working at IIM Bangalore, and I really did not. I really didn't need it.
Excellent. There's another attendee who's asking if they can apply for the scholarship if they are still in the final year of their undergraduate degree.
Oh,
Yes, they
I
can.
don't know.
So if you're completing your degree this year, that is like July, August, if your final exams are done and you are applying for the September, October 2025 intake. Yeah, I think that is what really matters, is that you should be applying for the September, October 2025 intake. As long as you're doing that, if you're still in the final year of your degree and you will finish it by that time, then it is okay.
Perfect. For everyone who has asked, I've already dropped a message in the chat linking both the CSC website as well as the MHRD notification about the Sakshat portal. So please find that message in the chat so you can save these links for later. And also for those of you who are asking about the recording, it will be available on Project EduAccess's YouTube channel in the next 24 hours. I've also dropped the link to our YouTube channel in the chat, so please save that as well for the general future, because we'll be doing quite a few of these sessions. Some more questions from the chat. With the QS ranking, is it based on QS university rankings, or are subject rankings also taken into account? Any idea?
Both are considered. Both.
Both are considered, which is great. And with respect to the offer letters that you're expected to submit by the 31st of October, there are two questions. Firstly, do these need to be conditional or unconditional offer letters? And secondly, are you going to be stuck with that one offer letter that you submit, or will you be able to change your university at a later stage?
So it can be a conditional offer, it is fine, and you will not be stuck. You will just be stuck with the 3 universities that you list in your application. So you have to go to one of those if you get the Commonwealth Master Scholarship. But say, for example, you heard back from your third preference university by 31st October, but you have not yet heard back from your first or second preference universities, then it is fine. You can go ahead and submit the offer letter that you have received from the third preference university. However, after that point, after 31st October, if you still receive a decision and you're accepted at your first preference or second preference university, then it is fine. You can still go to those universities.
Perfect. Now that we've got some of those clarificatory questions out of the way, let me give the floor to Janvi.
Hi, panelists. Thank you so much for taking out your time. So, like, my question is regarding reference letter. So, it's mentioned that it should be either on a letterhead or there could be like from the official email ID, and we need to attach the PDF of that, right, in the documents. So, like, so that email should be directed to me, right? Because
Uh,
there's no email ID of CSE or given as such.
uh, I'm not
So
sure.
your mentor will be asked to kind of he or she has to write from the official letterhead, and then you will have to upload from your portal, if I'm correct, right? And I think this is on both CSC website and as well as on the session portal, I guess. I'm calling it rightly. Um, yeah, this is the thing. Prachi, is there something? I think yeah, this is the only.
Right. So I
You
think
have
the
to
confusion,
upload your reference.
I think I understand what their confusion is about. I think it is because you are asked to submit the credentials of your application portal, but also you can attach those letters of recommendation yourself. So it is like just for verification purposes, you are required to submit the official email IDs of your referees. That is true. But you can request a letter from them and attach those PDFs yourself. You don't have to upload it anywhere. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Perfect. Jyotirmoy, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you, panelists. So, my question was regarding one of the panelists said that second UK master's degree is not really encouraged by the CSC. So, I wanted to understand if it's a like second master's degree in UK, or the first master's was also in UK and then the second master's in UK. Like, I'm pursuing my first master's in India. So were you referring that if I apply for the second master's degree, that's the degree?
Yeah, I was referring to, so like any if you have already done your masters like anywhere in the world, like so I'm not sure that if you already if you've not been resident in India for some amount of time before making your application, you are anyway not eligible to apply. But especially if you've done your masters, and if you've done your masters even from India, then then you are not you will not be preferred. So they prefer applicants who do not have a master's degree at all. However, that is not set in stone because, as I said, I know of several scholars who had already done their masters in India before, and I already have a master's too. But you should just be able to justify very well in your application why this second master's makes sense for you and how it fits in the developmental goals of the CSC. So if you justify that well in your application, then you are good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Let's turn back to some of the questions in the chat. Is this for taught degrees only, or would a 1-year research-based master's also be eligible? Any idea?
So it is meant for 1 year full 1 year long, like a year-long master's degree. If you mean an MPhil, for example, like you're eligible to apply for an MPhil. Or if you mean MRes, I'm not very sure. Maybe I'll just check it and get back.
Perfect. Abhijit, any idea if MRes courses are eligible?
I mean, I really don't know. But what I suggest to applicants is to kind of look at the CSC website. They have the all details, and you will get the clear idea of also because they have the certain universities, certain courses. They really fund, as I previously mentioned, they jointly fund your tuition fees, right? So I will suggest to kind of look at the CSC website, who has a kind of a list of universities and what courses the CSC will be able to fund your study, right? So either it might be masters taught based, or it might be research as well. So please check once the CSC website.
Perfect. So there are a series of questions about, sorry, Prachi, were you about to say something else?
No, I just say that I agree with what.
Okay, perfect. Sorry. So there are a series of questions about the eligibility of, final year undergraduate students. They're asking, of course, needless to say, they don't have full transcripts at the moment. So they are asking if they can provide a provisional transcript for the time being while applying. And then there are also a few questions about just the end of their degree. Is it okay if it ends only in May 2025? Is it okay if it ends only in June 2025? Any insights into that?
Yeah, I mean, basically, you have to kind of, as per my understanding, is whatever the transcripts you have and whatever the degrees or the education you have pursued so far. So, for example, if you have done your bachelor's and you are doing your master, you are in the end of your master's, but the result will might come later. So you have to kind of request your department or university, stating that the result will something like that will come soon, and because I remember that they have also CSC website again have referred to this kind of section where if you are in such situation, you have to provide a kind of some letter from your either university or department saying that okay, your result will the results will come in this month, and then you will get your transcripts. But yeah, if this is the case, yeah, again the CSC website, please. That is there will be a lot of resources as well. But yeah, this is what I have remembered from the website.
Perfect. Thank you both. There are quite a lot of questions about LORs. Is it okay to use an LOR that you received in past years? Secondly, is it okay if one of the reference letters is someone from your professional work and environment, or is it necessary for them to be academic references? And thirdly, is it okay for you to use
Yeah,
LOR for universities as well as scholarships?
completely. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, all the three questions are kind of in that way that yeah, you can use the previous LORs. There is no issue, but as your mentor will know you or whoever know you from the past, he might have seen you grown up, how you have been upgraded in your the particular field. So you might want to ask your mentor to kind of write a referee to kind of update or upgrade if that's possible. It's good to use the past one, but again, it's better to ask your referee to kind of upgrade if it's possible. What was the second question?
You get an LOR from your employer instead of an academic reference.
Yeah. It's good to have the combination of one professional. I mean, it's not mandatory, but I mean, some people might have not worked, or some people might have been working. I think I remember I got one from my academic and one from my professional where I was working. So that is a very great combination, actually. And I think that combination works in every. I mean, this is you just have to change few lines. It's like you have to just. I mean, this has to be done by your referee. So you can use the both the all letters at your for your university application as well and the CSC application as well. Just kind of a couple of alterations in the letter, right? So yeah, Prachi, if you want to add something.
Right, no, just that, and also for the Commonwealth Master's Scholarship, you also need to have a personal referee. So when I submitted my, so basically in the application, you are required to submit the details of all three referees, but at least two reference letters. So while making the application, so when I was making my application, I did not receive my third reference letter yet. So I was not able to submit it. I submitted the details of all three referees, but I was not able to submit the letter by my personal referee yet. However, when I got nominated, and when I received my when I received my provisional selection in May, that is along with the provisional selection email, they sent it as one of my conditions that I am yet to provide one of my reference letters. So I submitted it later. So if you're in a situation where up until the deadline you have not yet received your third letter, it should be fine, but you should at least submit two letters. However, by the end, if you are selected, you will still be required to submit. So just keep that in mind.
Perfect. Let's turn back to the raised hands. Prachi Mishra, you have the floor.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Hi, thank you so much. I wanted to ask that I wanted to pursue a double degree, like 1+1 master's degree. But Abhijit sir mentioned that we should anyways take the coming back, and I am intending to come back. But for now, should I take that, because I don't feel like my master's program is 9-month program, and LSE usually offers 1+1 degrees. So I want to pursue 1+1 degrees, and I had received offer letter in 2022 for the same. So can I take it for now, and then later on can I how strict or rigid are they with that clause?
So as far as I understand, unfortunately, you cannot stay on in the UK if, after your masters, and that means your like first masters in the UK, like for which you've gotten the scholarship. The only condition when you can stay on is if you get a fully funded PhD, but then you do have to come back after that. So ideally, right after completing your masters, you should come back. Only if you get a fully funded PhD, you can stay on, but then come back after completing your PhD. However, in case you want to pursue another master's, then unfortunately that is not possible. They won't allow for that.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Soumya, you have the floor.
Yeah, hi, my question is to Prachi. I was just a bit unclear about how does the selection process go after the 39 people have been shortlisted by the India office. So is there an interview or what exactly happens after that till we get the offer?
Well, there is no interview, and basically after 39 candidates are nominated by the ministry, there is really nothing that the applicants have to do. These 39 candidates, so the applications are first screened by the ministry, and these 39 candidates are selected by the ministry. And then they send the list of these 39 candidates and their applications to the CSC, who then further make the final selection. So there is, I also remember being very confused about this and not being able to understand what exactly is my role after being nominated. But basically, applicants do not really have to do anything except to wait. And your written applications only are assessed by the CSC once you've been nominated by the ministry.
So basically, after we submit our applications on CSE as well as the Sakshat portal, our job is done.
Right.
Cool, thank you.
Perfect. Anas, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you, Prachi, for this session. My question is related to the essays itself. I understand there is a lot of information I just got regarding the essays of CSE. I just wanted to get your approach, how to go about these essays. And I could not get enough information regarding the word limit as well. Are there any specific word limits as well for each of these section of essays, and how should we approach this?
Yeah, I mean, there will be word limit of, I think, sometimes, I mean, basically overall, there will be development impact part 1, 2, 3, 4. And each section like objective during the award, career plan, and your study outline. I don't exactly recall, but they do have the word limits. I think sometimes it's on 300, 250 words, sometimes 500 words. So depending on the section, so for example, long career plan and the development impact part essays, I think those comes around 300, 400 or 500 something. But you can see this when you create your, when you register yourself on this website, and you make your login, then you will be able to see what is, and you can again return back to your application. So it's not like you have to complete your application in one go. You can see what are the questions, what are the sections there, and then you can one particular Word document, you can write out your essay, right? So yeah, and approach from my perspective, as I initially only told you, was that you have to kind of make the sense of everything. You have to kind of stitch it, everything together, what you did, what are you doing, and what are you going to do, right? So whatever you do, so for example, you might have, so for example, myself, I am a civil engineer. And after that, I did my MTech in water management, which is a very heavy engineering focused education background. But after that, I also again did one small fellowship, which was quite interdisciplinary. And after that, I made a shift to kind of more like into social sciences background, right? And then whatever the course that I had chosen is kind of aligning with the transition that I'm making at the point, right? So that's how you have to kind of stitch it everything together, your journey so far, what are you doing and what are you going to do? And you have to stitch it together, everything, and you have to build the narrative. So that's and it should be the promising one. It should be what are your aspirations? And like in the aspiration, according to what are your career plans, how are they going to temporary and how they are going to be and how do you see also? Because you have to kind of tell them, okay, means like these are my aspirations, but within what time you will be able to achieve this. So kind of show them, okay, this much you have the potential with your the all track you have in the past, present, and with the future. How are you going to kind of um carry it with you to pursue your the all career plans, right? So yeah, I mean, like, this is pretty. I mean, this was my approach from my side. But Prachi, if you would like to add on this question.
No, absolutely the same. So, like about the word limits, actually, just as Abhijit said, uh, I don't think even when we were making applications, until we logged into the application portal, we were not really able to see if there were any word limits. And I don't remember exactly, but I think for questions asking about developmental impact and your objectives, career plan, can't be over 250 words or something, but I'm not sure. So please do check it on the application portal. I think the personal statement and the question about your voluntary and leadership experience, these two were the longest. So they must be 500 words or over. These were the two longest questions, which like with the maximum word limit. But yeah, apart from that, even I'm not sure. And about writing your essays, I would just say that start early. Like the application is very long. It requires a lot of brainstorming, and most often first and second drafts don't work. So just start writing early and start working on your application early. Don't leave it to the last.
Thank you. Thank you, Kaushik.
Thank you, Anas. Just a few questions in the chat. Do you need your passport at the time of application, or is it enough to have it ready later?
I mean, I already told this. I mean, don't wait for. This is a very basic document that I think everyone should have. And as I said, more those who come from the marginalized community, they always miss these documents. So whoever attending this session and like for all, please have your passports ready. You will need, and I remember I got my passport in 2023. So please, that's a very important document and very basic document that you should have, right? So yeah, if you haven't, get it done with the temporary, the Tatkal, because there are some services that you can get it fast within 15 days. Tatkal service if you don't have passport. So please have it ready.
Just a related question. Is it okay if the passport is going to expire by October 2025? Can you still make the application and then maybe extend it?
I mean, just get it renewed. Make life easier.
Yeah, but I guess for the purposes of putting in the application, it's okay even if the passport is going to expire in October. Like presumably they'll understand that you will renew it if you get an offer. No?
I mean, when I am not sure, but if I were in their position and if there was absolutely no way that I could get my passport renewed before the application deadline, what I would have done is to use that passport and then like make sure that I mention in the application somewhere that I intend to renew my passport. And but I don't know for sure. I don't really know if anyone like if anyone in the same situation made an
Perfect.
application.
Try getting your passport renewed if you can before making the application then. There are quite a lot of attendees who want to know if they need an IELTS score, an English language test score, in order to apply for the scholarship.
No.
Perfect. Then let's go back to the raised hands. Mubashir, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you for the session. I wanted to know regarding the clause which is mentioned regarding eligibility clause having a relevant postgraduate or master's degree. So I want to know that this relevant master's degree means relevant to the bachelor's degree or relevant to the master's degree which we are going to pursue, number one. Number second, for nominating agency, which gives 4 points for QS rating, 0 to 10 gives 4 points. So subject ranking is also considered. And for example, I am having two offers, one from IDS and other from SOS for development studies. So that is the QS ranking of 1 and 3. So I want to know that applying with these two offers, would I be able to get a score of 4 in terms of subject ranking? Thank you.
About your first question, so the postgraduate qualification point is relevant if you have between 50 to 59% in your undergrad. Then the conditions state that if you have 50 to 59%, then you must have a relevant postgraduate qualification. That is true. Sorry, what was your second question? Or Abhijit, if you would like to take that.
It was regarding QS rankings of subject. Would I be able to get 4 ranking if I apply under this subject QS ranking? For example, IDS and
Yes, subject QS rankings are considered. Yes.
okay, thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Mubashir. Just to clarify, because this question keeps coming up again and again, you don't need an unconditional offer letter in order to apply by the 31st of October 2024. I think both our panelists have repeatedly said that even a conditional offer is fine, which is why it's okay even if you do not have an English language test score at the moment. There are quite a lot of universities who are more than happy to provide conditional offer letters with a condition that you subsequently give them IELTS or TOEFL scores, right? So that's enough for you to make the application via the Sakshat portal. Sunny, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Abhijit and Prachi. So my question was that my faculty, which was in college, like I have to whom I have a long association and have worked with him, he is retired. So how to get that letter, that head that you were saying, uh, printed letterhead and all, and if he is retired and he might not have a mail ID also, that thing. So yeah.
This is a really good. This is a really great question. Actually, this happened with me because Prachi also previously mentioned that they asked for 3 references, and I also contacted my 3 referees, and one of them was like had gone out of the institution where I studied, and he joined his PhD study, so he did not have access to the letterhead as well as and the email ID. So it was quite tricky, but with the two reference letter, it worked for me. But they also kind of ask you for that time being given. They asked you to kind of write on a email one blank page. So they consider that third as during the initial application, they consider that third reference letter. If you ask your professor to just kind of write your reference letter on a one blank page and kind of give his details, the previous association, so that third letter will also be considered initially. But then CSE will ask you if you get nominated and moves with the further process. So they will again get back to you to ask, get it on an official letterhead, and then you can explain the situation that the professor is retired and he did not have access to the letterhead. But for the initial time being, it's okay to get your reference letter on the blank page, but just to kind of make sure that his email ID and all the previous associations and the previous designations are mentioned on the top of the letter. So with the third reference, that's what I did. But yeah, you will see that letter will be considered. I mean, like in my case, I submitted 3 reference letters. But yeah, please consider this option.
Thank you.
Thank you all. I did want to get through some of the questions in the chat. Do either of you have any experience with getting an offer deferred for the next year? Any advice on using a deferred offer to apply for the scholarship? No.
we don't, but so we were discussing this earlier between us whether deferred offers are considered for the Commonwealth Master Scholarship. And what we do know is that so there's no reason that deferred offers should not be considered. The only condition is that you should be starting your studies by September, October 2025. So ideally, there is no reason why deferred offers should not be considered. And we do know that they were considered up until last year. So it should be the case this time as well. But if in doubt, I think it's best to look up once again on the CSC website and probably write them an email.
Perfect. According to the rules, we need to come back to our home country for 2 years. Is it necessary to stay in India in these 2 years, or can we work in some other country other than the UK for those 2 years? Do they really keep track of this later?
I'm assuming that you are not going to lie in your essay, right? They specifically mentioned that you have to return to your home country. So I believe whatever you don't have to be concrete enough to in your essays, but you have to kind of show, you have to kind of make them kind of justify yourself. Okay, how you gonna pursue these things, right? So according to all the individual track and all in the all fields, you have to kind of deal with this question, okay, how you are going to again come back and how you're going to work out the things and how you're going to contribute in the development sector, right? So it differs from person to person according to their field. So you have to kind of again, like the one word, the brainstorm. You have to kind of think about it. But I'm gonna say you're not gonna lie in your answer.
I think that's very sound advice. There are a couple of more questions about the LORs. Is there a preferred combination as such? Are 3 academic LORs preferred, or would you recommend getting 2 academic LORs and 1 professional LOR? Any such combinations that worked for you or did not work for you?
Yeah, I think I already answered this question. That 1 academic and 1 professional would be a great combination, because that's worked for me. I don't know, Prachi, what was your combination? But yeah, that really worked for me.
No, I absolutely agree with Abhijit. So, like, if you have worked, if you do have some professional experience, and if you've been working for a bit before making your application, then why not? I mean, it is a good idea to have someone who knows you recently, who can comment on you from recent experience. It is a good idea to get a letter from them. So do that. But also, like, since you asked about 3 academic referees, please do note that the 3rd referee is not an academic or a professional referee. This one is a personal referee. So they have to comment, and this is like open to interpretation. This is quite a wide criteria. They have to comment, they have to write about you, like in more detail or sort of about a lot of other aspects than professional or academic. This can't be your friend or family, but yeah, like someone who knows your journey. So, for example, my personal referee was one of my senior colleagues at a place where I work. And even though I worked there for only a few months, I continued to be in touch with them and did a few projects with them later on. So they were able to comment, they observed closely my journey through the past couple of years, and they were able to write a letter for me in good detail. So the 3rd referee cannot be an academic referee. They can be like this person can be a professor if they can comment about you in that kind of detail. If you think that they can fit as a personal referee, this person can be your professor or your colleague or anyone else. But it is not an academic. The 3rd.
Perfect. Let's go back to the raised hands. In the interest of ensuring that this session ends in a timely fashion, I would like to request everyone with their raised hands to keep their questions brief. If you are a mentee at Project EduAccess, it's okay for you to park your question for later, because you know that there's going to be a mentee-only session that will be happening, again, with other Commonwealth Masters scholars. So if you don't mind parking your questions for later, I would request that you do that. Farhana, you have the floor.
Hi, thank you. So I just wanted to know, like, I would graduate by May 2025. So will I be able to apply?
Yes.
So according to the notification that we have already posted a few times in the chat, you need to have your undergraduate degree by September 2025. So if you're graduating by May 2025, you're good. Do check the notification that's been posted in the chat carefully. Eamon, you have the floor.
Hi, thank you so much for the session and for moderating and for answering in the comments as well. I had one doubt. I'm sorry if it's repeated, but to keep it brief, I was wondering if there are certain degrees in the UK where master's is combined with PhD or MPhil is combined with PhD. Will these scholarships, specifically this one, since we're looking at the Commonwealth one, will this one be considered? Those degrees be considered under this particular scholarship? That is my question.
So, as I mentioned earlier, CSC states that after completing your master's as a Commonwealth Master's Scholar, you can stay on if you have a fully funded PhD offer. So if this degree, which is a master's plus PhD for you, if it is fully funded, then you can stay on and finish your PhD and then come back to it. But in case you do not get full funding for it, then it might not be, because they do mention that it has to be fully funded. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Perfect. I am gonna put just one more question from the chat to the two of you. Is there any cap on the annual income in order to support your position on your financial situation? Anything along those lines that you need to worry about in order to ensure that you're nominated?
No, not at all.
Perfect. Danish, you have the floor.
Hi, thank you. So my question is, if I'm applying for a second master's, so I did my master's in social. Hello.
You're all good, Danish. I've muted them. Go for it.
Yeah. So I have a master's in social entrepreneurship. And if I'm planning to apply for a second master's in development studies, which is type of related field, is it a good thing to apply for a second master's, or with respect to the possibility for the application to be accepted, how is it? And the second thing is, just to know, did you had a paper published before you applied for the scholarship? Should I try in that lane also along with the application?
So about the first question, sorry, I'll take the second question. It's not mandatory to have a paper published. Some scholars do have papers published before making an application, but it's not an absolute necessity. And what was the first question?
So I have a master's in social entrepreneurship. So yeah.
So as I mentioned earlier, they prefer candidates who do not have a master's at all. If you have a second master's, then you have lower chances of being accepted. However, if you can justify very, very well in your application why you take this second master's is a good fit for you, then there are good chances that your application will get. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Just a final few questions from the chat. Is a 3 years bachelor's considered, or does one need to have a 4 years bachelor's degree in order to apply? Also, can one apply if they've done a bachelor's in 2013 and a decade later they did a PG diploma online? Any idea?
Yeah, I mean, I have my evidence of that. So I did my 3-year engineering because I did my diploma, and after that I directly got into direct second year engineering. So my engineering course was 3 years. And yeah, it's like I did one like graduation certificate program as well. So whatever like educational details you have, you could just put it. They really do consider all these things. So yeah, I hope that answers you.
Perfect. And just some more questions on the LORs. One of the professors I reached out to mentioned that she can only directly upload the LOR and that it is unethical to share it with the aspirant or student directly. How do I go about this if the portal requires the applicant to upload their reference letter?
That
I
is,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
So
my
I
master,
would,
my referee was very particular about when he was sharing the yellow work, that because this is an ethical practice, so the referee directly uploads, but CSC does ask you to kind of upload you from your port to your side. So yeah, I mean, you have to kind of tell your professor or who you're getting recommendation letter from that you are not going to share it, or you are not going to disclose it to others, because this is quite confidential. So yeah, but you have to get the yellow from whom you are seeking it. So yeah, practically.
right. No, just as Abhijit, you will not be misusing that LOR. But like yeah, if they do not agree to give you the LOR, I think it's a good idea to just try to get someone else to write it for you, who wouldn't mind you uploading it yourself.
Perfect. Does the class rank matter?
Um,
Does the class rank in the undergraduate
no,
degree matter for nomination?
no.
Or?
I mean, if you do have a good class rank, then sure. I mean, it's good to highlight that in your application, but it is not as if you do not, if you were not a topper or if you were not in the top 10 in your class, it's not as if you're not eligible, or yeah, I mean, that's okay.
That's good to know. And the final question, should we connect our voluntary experience with our career plans and other future commitments, even if they do not align explicitly when we're writing the essays?
As Abhijit mentioned, I think multiple times, it's a good idea to have a holistic application, like make everything connect, make everything your past work, your current work, your intention to be applying to this course, your future work, everything should be connected to each other and to the CSC's goals, to the development theme that you've chosen. So yeah, try your best to make everything connect. Although like make sure that it's not looking arbitrary and forced in any way, but like there should be a smooth, good connection between everything. Yeah. Sorry, Abhijit, were you saying something?
No. I mean, this is the same thing. But what I want to add here, like this is the final question. Make an application in a way that you are not kind of impressing. Most of the times, we end up showing that we are kind of showing whatever we have achieved, or our aspirations have to be controlled in a way that these are practical and these are very genuine. So it's not like, and also you have to be practical when you are going to tell them, okay, these are my career short term and the plans. You have to be kind of use all your essays in hope that you are going to at least achieve a little bit of it or something. You have to use your mind. What is your field? What is your research area, right? So you have to make a very genuine application. You have to kind of reflect on your all, like as I said, past. Again, have to see what you're doing at present, and again have to go back, jump on the where you might be in 5 or 10 or like 50, 20, 30 years. So and yeah, I mean, it's like if you does have the voluntary and leadership experience, please do add them in a such a way, because it's all about sustainable development goals, right? And there are so many sustainable development goals. You can just look at them, and I'm sure that you might be able to make a sense of it. So yeah, just that's what I wanted to add. And yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, both of you. That brings us to the end of the endless number of questions that we had coming in. Once again, a huge thanks for patiently sitting through this session, giving us that super comprehensive yet concise presentation, and also taking all the questions. I'm just going to quickly pop a few important links in the chat for the benefit of all attendees. Please just take a moment to open all of these links and save them, favorite them, bookmark them, do whatever it is that you need to, so you can get back to these links later. And so you have all the information that you need in order to apply for this scholarship. Mentees, you will hear from us very, very soon about next steps in respect of this scholarship. So please, we ask for your patience until then. But otherwise, once again, a huge thanks to both Abhijit and Prachi for braving a lot of technical difficulties, and also, despite being outside, Abhijit, you have managed to sit through the full presentation, the full workshop. So I really appreciate your efforts. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Gayatri. Thank you, Abhijit.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gayatri. And best of luck to everyone. I'll again repeat and emphasize that sit with your application, brainstorm it, make sense of everything, stitch it together. Don't let anything, your single word in isolation. And again, have to don't do it in a one go. Take your time. And yeah, means you can also circulate among your peers to kind of review it. So that makes also kind of give you kind of a constructive feedback where you can improve to get quite good reflection. So yeah, that's the last and some couple of suggestions. And yeah, best of luck to everyone for their application.
All the best, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.